Welcome to Bogside Chats. We're talking everything DFK but keeping it casual. We're the first non-whale podcast. No Gen Zeros, no stable of 100 heroes. My name's C9N. Joined with me is the Bogside crew. Gentlemen, how we doing?
Very good, very good. Excited after a slight hiatus. Have some stuff going on, but excited to get back in here and talk DFK.
Yeah, I've missed you boys. It's been too long.
Been
A
too
little-
long. It's been too
Life
long.
definitely got in the way, but
Yeah.
excited to be back, and we have a lot to talk about.
Yes.
We have a lot on the agenda, but before we get to that, and Maddie will get to that, he likes to move along. Today is May 10th, and you know what that means. You have to like, subscribe, and comment before you can get into this. Please help us out, spread the word. The more you spread the word, the faster we'll spit out videos and make it more regular. But that being said, Maddie, what do we got?
All right. So in a little bit, we're going to talk about the newly released DFK Arena. After that, we got some stuff about training quests. Then we got some unfortunate stuff we got to cover about Jewel and how the price has been ugly. We had an AMA, and then we're going to wrap up with some tavern talk. But before we get to all that, I think right up top, the first thing we got to hit is some recent controversy that has been within the game. Now, I want to make sure everyone knows I'm speaking for myself and not the other gentleman here on the podcast. But Frisky came out and sort of admitted after it got revealed that there was a friend he had helping him out early on in the game. That there was I don't want to say hidden, but there was a wallet that helped him out with some early liquidity that wasn't revealed. It wasn't the same, not revealed is the wrong way, but it wasn't the same transparency that we would have liked to have seen. They came out and talked about it. They've made several statements now. They had an AMA where the team docks themselves. I'm confident that with the game and everything that's going on, but that's just me. I think this is a slight hiccup. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I want to do a quick statement on it. How do you guys feel about it?
I'm not too concerned about it. They're for all intents and purposes building a company. Kind of working at a startup myself. I know how much stuff is messed up, and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even intend for that to happen. I think they pulled it together. The response was good. It's always how can you respond to controversy, to crazy stuff. It's not necessarily what is that crazy stuff unless it's illegal. I mean, what do you think, Guy?
Yeah, I think the big thing is when you hide stuff, and it definitely has the chance of snowballing and turning into a bigger and bigger problem. And I'm glad the cord's just been cut on it. I mean, it's unfortunate that it happened, but I think the response to the team shows where their head is and how focused they are on the future. I hope there's no other shoes to drop. Time will tell with that, but I think the team responded really well to it. And I think the doxing aspect was one of the big concerns I had with the team and the project. Actually, after that happened, I put a little more money into the game. Not recommending anyone else do the same. But,
Right. Well, I mean,
that was a big thing.
Yeah, it was reassuring. They did a
Right.
big kind of roundtable. So they did a roundtable sort of right afterwards, and then also did this doxing AMA sort of as a couple. These are honestly like days after the initial information came out. These guys came out and they handled it, and I'm confident. I'm bullish in the game, and we're gonna keep going. So.
Yeah. I mean, we all had the opportunity to wait it out. It's been 10 days, 2 weeks, so
yeah,
pretty chill on that one.
Yeah. So we're putting that behind us and we're moving on because we're excited about this game. One of the biggest things that has been released. Now, again, it's interesting. I should phrase it the right way because this is a third-party site that has opened up. It's called DFK Arena. This is very cool. It is a separate from the core game. This is sort of a spin-off of that, where you can take your heroes and battle them against other heroes, wagering. The only thing you can wager is the in-game gold. If that's, I believe that's still how it works. But this is a very cool prospect, very cool kind of using our heroes in different ways. What do you guys think about this? How are we feeling about it?
Awesome. I want more utility for my NFTs. Period. As much as you want, man. As much as you want. If I own NFTs, it just helps them.
Yeah, it's simpler than what I wanted it to be, but I'm glad it's out. I'm glad it's a thing. I'm glad there's utility and something to do with heroes. So, a little more info on it. The gold you can wager, it is pegged to US dollars, that there's a wizard going on in the back end that every 24 hours, the amount of gold resets that you can wager. So it's basically 10, 100, or $1,000 matches, which I think is a little steep. And I think it prices a lot of the general public out of the game, which is a little unfortunate. And then on top of that, 5% of the gold is going to the game developers and zero point 0.1 jewel per level of the hero that you use. So if you use a level 7 hero, you're giving 0.7 jewel to the game developers to use that hero in the game.
Ooh.
So it's a little expensive for what it is, because it is a very basic game, but it exists. It works. I haven't seen a whole lot of bugs other than me just trying to show and watch a game here live here. But outside of that, I haven't seen too many bugs. It seems to be working really well.
Well, I guess
So I think it's a great first step.
Yeah, and I think it's very cool, and I think this opens the door to a lot of cool options of these third parties coming in and creating spin-offs or mini games that work with the core game. Now, my big problem with this one that I've seen so far is it's just straight stats, right? Stats versus stats. If your guy has higher stats than the other guy, he wins, right?
So
I mean,
this
that's how these.
poor monk that just ran into a death knight got
Yeah,
shut out.
yeah. So if you have a high level hero with high stats, an advanced class, an elite class, you're going to dominate. And with those dollar amounts that you said, this isn't something that somebody like me who, although I should say I now have 7 heroes.
Ooh,
None of my
Wow.
heroes are gonna. I know none of my heroes are gonna be able to compete in this, though.
yeah. I think it's interesting that they did break it into level caps, so there's a level 1 to 4 group. So I think the 1 to 4
Oh, I
is
didn't know
really
that. That's
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah, so with that, rarity doesn't matter, which is big.
Yeah.
So that's pretty huge, as well as you can just focus on like maxing out a level 4. I mean, a level 1 dragoon's not that expensive. So you could go and max level him to level 4, which we've actually seen an uptick in stam pots, I think, because of that exact reason. But I think what we've been saying here, and what I agree with too, is this is the first step of many other interfaces of games, of development, of additional utility for hero. We're all sitting here saying, how are we gonna not be completely flush with 200,000 heroes? How is the hero price going to continue to be stable? And I think one of the ways that's going to be possible is, imagine this times 10. Imagine if there's 10 different game developers that all have different utilities, different spins, different unique things to do with your heroes. I mean, even this DFK Arena developer, he said he wants to make a League of Legends. Now, does that mean he wants to make a MOBA, or does that mean he wants to have basically like your own little login into like a League of Legends gameplay that he's got 3 or 4 games that he's developed?
He wants to create an entire suite of games. I mean, that's bold claims from this guy after he just made this one little thing. I mean,
Well,
Yeah.
he's got to keep building, and we understand the reason for what some may consider a high rake. He's trying to build, or he or she. So the real question is, have you guys actually used it and done any matches in DFK Arena?
like I said, hell no. I first off, I don't have a stack of gold that I can be throwing around for these matches. And secondly, I'm
Did
confident
they
my
know
guys
we're
would lose.
live? Hey, sorry to cut you off, Maddie,
Oh,
but
sorry. Yeah.
there's now a floor of 329 gold,
Ooh,
which
which
is
is
very affordable.
a dollar, under a dollar, right?
Yeah, so that's really interesting. One of the other
Interesting.
reasons I was thinking that it started at 3,200 is, think of this as a brand new game. There's going to be stress on the servers and stuff like that. You
Yeah,
want to alpha test it before you really
sure.
roll it out. And
To
the way to control the number of
set the
people playing
threshold.
it
Yeah,
is you
yeah.
set the threshold high. But they're apparently confident with where it's at because 329 gold just rolled out.
That's very interesting. Yeah,
So have you,
I might. If can they and can you do those level caps for that low level gold?
Yeah, so basically, I took all of my gold out of this wallet. But
Teaming
if when you
endorsement.
select your hero, you're gonna select if you're the one hosting the game, you select any hero you want, and then anyone going to join that game will only be able to select a hero in that level bracket that the host
Interesting.
has.
Interesting.
So it's 1 to 4, 5 to 9, 9 plus, or 10 plus, 5 to 8
Hmm.
maybe.
So have you played Guy?
I've played 3. I've got a legendary monk. I thought a monk was going to be a really good fit for this. So I went 1-on-1 with my monk, and then I stupidly did like one match with like, a common monk. Because the other thing with this is there's a 4-hour cooldown. So I can't just sit here and roll my monk all
Oh, I
day
see.
every day.
Yeah.
So I played one other match with the common, which was just a mistake.
How'd you
So I'm 1-2, and I get enough of the taste. But now that there's a 329 gold floor, I'm kind of itching to go back in. I'm curious if they drop the jewel cost as well. Because if it's still 0.4 a jewel, that's still pretty heavy.
Yeah, right. So what are
Yeah.
your overall thoughts on if a monk can contribute or do well because it's well rounded?
That was my thought. But the other thing I wasn't thinking about is HP matters. So I think paladins and dragoons actually have an
Mhm.
edge. And then on top of that, if you win the stat roll, the damage you do is for that stat roll.
Okay.
So, like my ninja, who's got 29 agi, when he wins that roll, he's going to do 29 damage. Versus my monk, even though I'm winning more rolls, it's only doing 11 or 13 damage per attack.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's
So my
brutal.
ninja could lose 2 out of every 3 and still potentially
Yeah.
win.
And the
So
ninja probably has better HP, just being an advanced versus a
Yeah,
basic.
and
Yeah.
that's where it's, hey, if I do
Yeah.
this again, I'm probably gonna roll my rare paladin. Is
those
Yeah.
min
probably all I'll
maxi
do.
boys. With some
Mm.
vit in there. All right.
It's very interesting. I think, like me personally, I haven't rolled anybody out there because I said, I mean, I don't think any of my heroes are particularly strong across the board like that. Like, especially, a legendary monk seems like, yes, across the board, there's strength. Whereas, like, I have an uncommon Dark Knight with crazy strength, but if he gets rolled on his intelligence or not intelligence, his wisdom, he's done. So I don't know if it's worth it.
Well, pull up your Dark Knight. Let's compare your Dark Knight to my monk.
All right, give me a sec.
So
Well, hold
this
on.
is
Yeah,
awesome.
I'll
This
give
is like the
you his
first.
number. Yeah.
This is like the first PvP that we have. It's pretty
True.
cool.
I know.
What's his number?
Hold please. I'm on my laptop that does
This
not
is
move as
this,
fast.
this is the exciting part of the podcast where everyone gets to sit
T9,
here and listen.
can we get some hold music?
Yeah.
I believe in a thing called love. No, actually
Why
breaking a
would you
song.
choose that? Why would you choose that?
When I was younger, my dad owned a business, and he always put on 106.7, which was like the super friendly old music, and it's in my head.
Where are we?
106.7.
Are you doxing yourself by revealing the city you're from?
Oh, maybe. Absolutely. If you can guess that, you're an animal.
I believe I bleeped out all mention of our names, but one might have snuck by. Yeah, this isn't happening, guy. I'm sorry.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
serious.
Time
I'm
for
like
another
frozen.
day.
Yeah.
We'll pivot into kingdom building program now. Have
Yeah.
you guys looked
All
at
right.
this
Yes. Yes.
page? What are
We're
your thoughts
segueing.
on it?
So, well, I had a little preamble for it. So, speaking of third party and other outside sources, the DeFi Kingdoms team, or I should say, Kingdom Studios. Now, that's how I should start referring to them as. Kingdom Studios has unveiled this this new kingdom building program onto all of us, where you can submit your ideas similar to DFK Arena, either third-party games or game additions, game improvements, or other kind of Dex-related stuff or coding stuff that could help the game. They've built this sort of as a forum where people can submit it, and then we can get comments back on it. The team themselves can comment back on it. It's very cool. I think it's much better than their they had a grant program, a couple months back that kind of stuttered. It clearly didn't have as much transparency as this one does. This one's very cool in terms of everybody can come on, read it, look at it, vote on it, comment on it. It's very cool, and I think it's a really big step for the game and for transparency. I mean, this is part of what they've been talking about with the quote unquote controversy that we're not going to talk about. This is more improvement, more transparency. What do you guys think about it?
Well, there's a couple of things. I mean, just clicking through and seeing some of the high level or highest viewed grants. One is Action RPG and DFK Project 4.2.0. So obviously an RPG build would be great. That's in-game enhancements. In the grant submissions for data applications, we've got Tavern 2 version 2, which would be crazy if they redid the Tavern. Are people that unhappy with it? And then lastly, we see in the community brainstorming tab, hiring and compensating the developers of DFK Tracker. That's got a lot of views, which I thought was pretty interesting. So there's some cool stuff in there. The transparency is cool, and there's a couple projects that are getting some eyes.
Well, and I think, and Guy, I do want to get your comments on it, but I do want to jump in there and say the DFK Tracker, if we all remember, was a separate third-party website that sort of gave you a great look at your finances and what you've invested, and it showed you the gardens compared to your heroes, compared to all the different things where your money might be stored in the game. Those guys stopped doing it because they were not given a grant from the team. So the developers were like, this isn't worth our money, and they stopped doing it. So now they can re-present it here, and the community can vote and say like, yeah, this is something we want, and they can potentially get the funding that they need to keep that going. I think that is awesome.
Yeah, I think that's cool. And I think that's exactly what Kingdom Studios is trying to build here.
Yeah.
Just, a central place for people to build on top of and utilize the NFTs and the assets associated with the game. And as long as there's money to go around, they'll fund projects that the community wants to have funded. And this is a great way for us to just let our voice be heard. And it's interesting seeing the breakdown of different buckets, because I think the grant program was 99% developers and software and enhancement for the game. I think there's a couple other interesting things here of the community focused, and the community brainstorm is really interesting. The word guilds is mentioned here. Who knows, maybe we need to get a grant in place at some point in the distant future. But I think the sky's the limit for.
We're not going to say anything yet on that. There might be something in development there. We don't want to go ruining any surprises.
Leave a comment if you want a Bogside Guild. Let us know. hit a like. Just let us know on that one.
We assume you're subscribed by this point, but if not, subscribe now. But I think I like the foundation that they're building here. I think the sky's the limit of where they can go with this, as long as there's a healthy ecosystem that supports it.
Yeah, the one theme through all the adversity that Frisky keeps hitting on in the AMA, everything is keep building. That's their philosophy. Is just keep building. Head down, nose to the grindstone, regardless of the economy, what's going on, keep building, which is awesome. That's what I want to hear.
Well, I agree with that too, wholeheartedly, and I think that's been seen with the other members of the community as well. Bolon and all the other guys who are kind of public facing. They've said the team is unfazed by this. They're going to keep working. But I think what you said, CNN, there is very interesting of what the outside world is saying, and that is a great segue, because I don't know if you guys know or not. You probably haven't looked. You probably haven't looked because you've been busy. But crypto is dying. It's dead. It's over. The sky is falling. It's the end of the world. We've seen lows we haven't seen for months. Bitcoin itself is. I saw it at 30. Or I kind of keep it at like 31 or 32, but it saw some lows. It's been scary. Well, Jewel has been part of that too. I mean,
Remember when
are
Joel
we
was at
are we
20
are we
bucks?
are we nervous? Are we nervous? Or we just know this is just a normal market shift?
Um, everybody now knows who the pessimist is on the podcast. These things happen. It's crypto. We've seen crazier swings. I'm just gonna sit here and diamond hands at everything. Maybe even buy into a couple of things. This when Bitcoin is down like that, it's whatever. It's gonna
Yeah.
hurt. You can't get anything out. But do you
I think
believe?
the important thing with a thing like DFK is really need to go into the mindset of game first, investment second.
Right.
Like with crypto in general, it's like you should be expecting to lose all your money you've quote unquote put into this. Kind of how I've been looking at it is I'm just sitting here accumulating jewel. So I'm gonna keep summoning heroes. I'm gonna keep flipping heroes on the tavern for profit. I'm gonna keep accumulating additional inventory items and things like that, and watch my jewel counter go up. And that'll either A, enhance my ability to continue playing this game long term, or B, if jewel bounces back, maybe make some money long term. But basically, what I put into this game, it's gone. Maybe it'll come back at some point, but right now
Well,
it's part of the game ecosystem.
I do want to comment and say I was being a bit dramatic. I've been through some crypto bulls and bears, and I understand this is ups and downs. It happens, but I think one interesting fact, or fact might be the wrong word, but interesting point I've thought of in the past few weeks is the sort of quote unquote fiat or regular markets have also been kind of diving, and crypto has sort of been reflecting that and then obviously by association, Jewel and the NFTs have been as well. I mean, should we be looking at these fiat regular markets for our crypto stuff, or are you guys not worried about that at all? I mean, it sounds like you said, worry about the game, not the investment, but like it is kind of scary when everything's down. I mean, is that something you're considering?
Sure. Yeah, but no, to me, it's all separate. Like Guy said, I put X amount in at the start, and remember, I bought at 21, and it immediately tanked.
Yep.
So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna sit on this for a little while and try to keep reaccumulating jewel. So I reflect Guy's mentality with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. All right.
Moving on.
Fair. Yeah. The world's crumbling. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, life goes on. I guess the only thing I would say is don't forget to unplug from the game, unplug from this ecosystem as well.
I think it's fair. Yeah.
We're all kind of disappointed we haven't been on the podcast in 2 weeks, and it's definitely sucked. But I mean, we've got to spend time with friends and family and go see what the outside world looks like. And spend time
very fair.
outside of these walls.
Yeah. Go call your parents. Say hello to them.
100% agree.
Let's move on to more in-game stuff. This is more fun to talk about. This is actually very good. So a couple of weeks ago, they released the training quest. This was sort of a thing we've been talking about. We were excited about. They released them. It's now been 3 weeks, 4 weeks since they came out. Regardless, we've had some time to kind of mess around, to make some decisions. I'm going to open it up and say, me personally, I did them for like the first week with my heroes, and then very quickly I jumped right back to the professions. Now I love the profession quests. I love stacking the inventory items. That's something I enjoy doing because I think those are going to have value down the road. That's just an approach I take to the game. And I don't think I'm not suggesting that's the right way to do it. That's just something I like doing. Have you guys been doing the training quests? Have you gone back to profession quests? What are you doing out there with your heroes?
Yeah, very similar to you, Maddie.
Yeah.
Started right at the beginning. I did a couple of training quests, and it was awesome. I was getting a hit, and then they made the patch. They were like, yeah, actually, it was hitting too often. So as soon as they released that, I went, yep, I'm just going to go back to foraging. I'll take my Dark Thistle and the occasional tears in the rune here and there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for me, it hasn't been totally worth it. What about you, Guy?
Yeah, I think for anyone that's got less than 20 stats, so by 20 stats of like I've got an archer who's got 21 dexterity, he's probably doing the dexterity training quest. And so everyone else is pretty much foraging, fishing. My 6 miners are all mining gold because they're mining more gold than they're winning in the profession quest. I did have probably a week-long period that everyone was doing training quests, which was great because everyone was leveling up, and then I ran out of runes. And I don't know if you've been following the rune market, but I think everyone else is doing the same thing too. And we're now at the tier of the core player base has level 6 to level 8 heroes, and they're spending 3-4 runes a level up. And if everyone's doing training quests, the overall supply of runes is very, very light, and the price of it's gone up. So I've definitely gone to a balance where I've got about 28 heroes. 5 or 6 of them, like my core PvP team, is doing training quests. Everyone else is doing profession quests.
That is interesting, and also I do want to comment. I have a couple level 6s, and I'm close to level 7 on one of them, level 5, and I haven't ever used a stand pot, so I think, not that I'm the measure, but I do think that's a good judge of it. I think people are starting to get to level 7, maybe level 8 even, just not even stand potting. And it is interesting to think about the runes, because we're going to start seeing, I think, the quote unquote regular masses, regular players start in mass, doing regular level ups, but it's 3 or 4 of them. So I do think we're going to start seeing those runes being used much more often. And the drop rates, I mean, runes are in the drops for the training quest, but they're way less than the profession quests, right? I don't know the exact numbers, but the runes, you're much more often to get a rune in a profession quest than the training quest.
You don't get runes in the training quest.
Oh, is it 0? Oh my gosh, I apologize.
You can get crystals.
I've gotten runes from training quests.
Maybe I'm just completely wrong.
Yeah, I've gotten runes from training quests for sure.
I think you can, yeah.
It's
less than profession.
Yeah, I think the drop rate's low. But
the guy with 2
I'll see if I can pull it up in the.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll
Thanks for
tell
keeping
you
me honest, boys.
I'll tell you straight up though that the foraging quests that I do, and I've only got 2 foragers right now. I have not been hitting runes like I used to. Like I am low, and I'm getting scared because I'm getting close to some level ups. I don't know if they've tweaked something in the training quests and it ruined it for foraging quests, but I don't know. Personal anecdote there. We'll see. Either way, I'm sticking with foraging. Final answer until I get to level 20. Thank you, Guy.
There you go.
Well, I think also too. I don't know if I said this earlier, but I do think it's interesting. I think my heroes that I'm talking about are level 6-ish. I have a couple level 5s. I think they have very high profession scores because I've been running them constantly for weeks now. And so they do very well on their professions in terms of, even if it's, iron scales or whatever the other like fishes are, or wait, what's the plural there? Fish? Other fish? Is it fishes? No, it's not fishes. That's not right.
Sure.
Regardless, like they get a lot of fish, maybe not the rare ones, but like I constantly am getting items from those profession quests. And so that's why I'm doing that versus the training quests. It was always X's across the board, and I was getting barely anything in gold. And I've gotten 1 page of the special pages that you need. So I got frustrated with that and went back to the profession quest because all my guys had decent profession scores and were getting decent items.
Profession quest it is. Understood.
Yeah. I mean, I am kind of excited that I have all 9 pages, so I'm good on.
I mean, what do you get though? What is that giving you? Just the satisfaction of the completionist there?
Just lore for now.
Give me the quest accomplishment. Give me a certain in-game title or something, and I'm happy with it.
They might do.
They haven't done that though, but I mean, sure.
My guess is when they do put that 10th one out, and that's probably a little while. They'll be like, all right, whoever's got 1 through 9, like you just get it. Like you put the work
Well,
in. There you
they
go.
did say there's
Yeah.
going to be a special quest, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I
But
think you'll just have
if you
instant
have
access.
all 9, you get a
Yeah,
special quest.
that's
I don't
my
know if
guess.
it's that or if it's just there's going to be another quest out there that you'll be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be like RuneScape's party hat. Like, hey, I got this back in
Yeah.
And it's
2004.
limited time too, so that means there's going to be a finite supply of them.
There
So
you go.
come next season, there's going to be a new pages to collect.
Perfect.
Have you guys read the pages yet? I still haven't even read them.
I haven't
I
gotten them.
tried. I made it to like page
Yeah,
2.
I read like one of them, and I'm like, oh, I mean, it's entertaining. It's very cool, but it's a lot of reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get my first egg over here. All right.
Oh
Let me
boy.
keep foraging.
All right, let's move on to our next topic. They had an AMA yesterday. Today is Tuesday. They had this on Monday. It was the game mechanics team. One of the big things that they said, there's not a lot of comments on this. They said pets are happening soon. I mean, in my mind, that meant either this week or next week. So that's very exciting. There's no news on that. I just think it's cool they mentioned that, and I'm very excited to see it happen.
Yep.
The more exciting thing they talked about was they kind of got in a little more detail about how agility and dexterity will be, or how it will affect combat in the PvP. So the question somebody asked, I want to say it was Metas, but it might have been another smart commenter who asked this.
Shout out to Cyrus.
Who was it?
Cyrus. Shout out to Cyrus who asked that question.
Oh, Cyrus asked. I apologize. Cyrus asked the question: is it going to be like a 2-to-1 where if I have 10 agility and you have 5 agility, I'll get 2 turns while you get 1 turn? And they commented and sort of in so many words said, no, it's not going to be that exact 2-to-1, but there will be an advantage for people who have higher, or for heroes that have higher agility versus heroes that
And
have lower agility.
I think the key is agility in other games is initiative. So initiative in a game is who goes first in a turn. And then you've got your haste aspect, which is what's the frequency between each of your moves. So it sounds like it's going to be both initiative and haste of your higher agi heroes will go first in combat. But then if you watch any videos on like Final Fantasy 12 and the Gambit system, you've basically got an action bar that's replenishing at the bottom of your screen. And the higher your agility is, the faster that action bar is going to replenish. So you may have a ninja that can do two attacks per every 1 attack of a paladin, but it's not going to be that 30 to 15 ratio that you're thinking of.
Right. Yeah. And we hypothesized this. This is sort of confirming it now in this AMA that agility will be speed. I mean, I refer to it as speed, and again, if anyone's listened to any of our prior episodes, this is not going to be a new reference, but in Pokemon, if your Pokemon has a higher speed, they're going to go first. I mean, and that is just a huge advantage in a lot of PvP situations. And then there'll be some sort of ratio in terms of if you're X amount higher, you'll get X amount more actions, while the other person will get a slower amount of actions.
And it'll be interesting too to see if the types of abilities of if your paladin uses a massive ability, the replenishment of your action bar might actually be slower based on a more powerful ability. We don't know all those details yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's something like that in the works.
We'll see
that was my next comment. Was going to say they gave us some more details here, but we still don't have the full story of exactly how it will work. I think they confirmed a little bit of our hypothesis, but they still didn't give us a lot here.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Samich too. If you guys are looking at the screen, I've got his Medium article up. He does a great job with these AMAs. The other half of that question was in relation to dexterity, which was cool too. Dexterity is not just going to be like, did your hero hit? Yes, no. There could be a multiplier of like your archer shot him in the kneecap and now he's crippled and something like that because your archer has super high
critical hits, baby. Critical hits.
Critical hits as well as multipliers.
We get a nice agi dex going and be super fast and just be nailing like double hits that are twice as powerful. Woo! Agi dex. Let's see.
I think it was very interesting. It's very fun. Again, we're still so early in terms of PvP combat actually being released. I love talking about this, and I love theorizing. We still don't know the full story, obviously, but the decks being part of, and they said this in the AMA, how certain classes will attack. They said pirates and archers using decks as part of their attack role. Or I don't know if they use the word role, but that's how I envision it in my head. But they said that's going to be part of it, and it's very exciting because it means there's like a ranged aspect that, or not, maybe not ranged. Again, I'm using other games to like fill in this information, but that is very cool. It's very exciting.
So, based on this information, do you guys prioritize agi or dex over any of the other stats currently?
See, that's the thing that's tough is like I don't know for sure because like what if one of these tanks, right, knights, warriors, or paladins has like some sort of like damage thing where it's like if they take certain amount of damage it like is a nullified, like a damage reduction.
What do you think they're gonna make someone OP? You don't have faith in
no,
the devs
but I'm just saying like you could counter somebody attacking 5 times with a weak attack. You know what I mean? Like there's ways
there
to
will always
counter.
be counters. Yes.
There's ways to counter speed that we don't know about yet. So I can't say like, yeah, this is the way to go. Go agility the whole way. Like you can't say that,
you got your ninja swinging at this paladin, and he's like, the paladin's like, whatever, you're not even getting through my armor. I'm gonna hit you once, you're gonna be dead.
Yeah, so it brings us to an interesting point that they say combat would be 3v3, right? So if your ninja is attacking their healer, and you crush the healer immediately, then it's like, all right, cool. Like I'm set, man. I can pick away at that tank all day and stay pretty cool. There's gonna be a ton of combinations. There's gonna be counters to every type of build, and that's why I'm building my all monk team. I'm just gonna be very well rounded. I'm gonna be able to counter anything you throw at me, and it's just gonna be awesome.
We haven't discussed this at length, but I think this is a foolish endeavor of yours. I think the all monk team is going to fail miserably.
But I will never be last because I've got all the mins, right? So it'll be okay. I'll, finish middle of the pack, get my X amount of jewel or gold, whatever the land tourney purse is, and move on my way to the next one.
All right.
Am I skipping segments or can I summon?
We were going to do that a little later, but if you're excited, we could do it now.
Get a summon in here.
All right. So for those not seeing the video, Guy is going to summon because he's excited and he can't wait any longer. He's got a uncommon wizard and a common priest. The priest is a level 5, so we got the bonus tiers on him, which is awesome. What are we looking for here?
Yeah, so
obviously a summoner, but I mean, what else?
Yeah,
other than that,
I've been looking at the tavern for a while, and I've made a decent number of purchases over the last couple of weeks, where both of these are matching dominant and recessives.
Oh,
so
excellent.
The priest is a priest, the wizard's a wizard. I do like both of their subclasses. That the priest has a thief subclass. We were just talking about agility, so a good chance of getting a thief subclass, which is nice. And then the wizard's a wizard as well. So I definitely
take on point, yeah.
Yeah, wizard subclass. So
what are we looking at profession? Are we worried about profession?
If I don't get a good profession, I just do training quests, right?
I guess so.
A decent chance of getting a forager, which is a good match.
Yeah.
But I like the stat boost too. Agi, wisdom, intelligence. Strength would kind of be my miss there.
Yeah, but blue intelligence would be key for a summoner.
Yeah, agreed.
And
sorry, what was the summoner percentage?
22.
Ah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
So default's 14, since both of them are recessive matched, it brings it up to 22.
No advanced ability match?
No advanced ability matches. I found my priest for 108, and I found my wizard for 95.
That's a good
And I
deal.
actually rented my priest 10 out of 10 for 28 jewel. So my cost basis for both of them is under 100 jewel.
Yeah, that's a good
All
that's a
right.
good deal.
That's not
Remember,
bad.
3.5% chance for sub Dark Knight. So let's count on that too.
Did you see the 0.05% chance of a ninja subclass?
I did not. I like that even
Oh,
better.
that'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun.
What was the common? It's like 53%, right?
55. The default
Don't love that,
58.
but it's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, the default's 58, but since I have an uncommon, it's a little
Yeah.
better than the default.
All right, let's see it. We were excited. What
Yeah,
was the?
if other people weren't feeling lazy last night, I would have had a much better summon to show last night where I actually hit my first elite hero.
Ooh.
I got a sage
Congrats.
from my yeah, thank you. So that was a really good hit. And so obviously I'm just like itching to get back to the
Yeah.
summon game after that.
What is Summoner? Summoner's got a little ball, right? Little
He's
orb.
got the orb.
Yeah. Let's see the orb. Let's see it.
All right, what do we say?
Leave this pause in.
That is a wizard.
What is the wings though? Cool wings.
Cool wings. Very basic.
Common.
That is a miss.
Wizard Archer.
Wizard Archer.
Ooh, Gardener with the
Interesting.
blue vitality.
Not the end of the world.
The green wisdom.
So we got a wizard, 35, archer.
Archer kind of low there.
10%
Gardener with very low chances.
And then what was the stat boost were wisdom and vitality. So
Vitality was very rare, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
a pretty
interesting.
solid wizard.
This is a great segue to our final, or maybe not final, but our next segment.
Segment is that?
If you wanted to say put this new hero onto the tavern, would you be putting him onto a terrible tavern or a terrific tavern? Our segment, terrible tavern or terrific tavern. What are we thinking?
Well, it's even though it's guys
Yeah.
hero, it's been wonky lately. I understand that doesn't start with a T. It's let me tell you, it's we had a little bit of a drop in hero floor prices. It looks like it's stabilizing a little bit back at 35. It's been funky for sure.
It hit 32, right? Almost 31 for a bit there, right?
Yeah,
it's
it did.
33 right now.
Yeah.
Gen 1 floor has been holding 60, but Gen 1 floor is actually dropping below 60 as well, which is interesting.
It is interesting. But interestingly enough, though, if you go to the legendary market, there were a couple in like the 109 territory a few weeks ago, in the teens, and now it's consistently jumping up to in the 130s there. So I don't know. Like I said, it's wonky. The common floor heroes are getting lower. Some of the more desirable ones are actually either staying still or raising in price.
And rares are being treated like almost like commons. Your rare floor is 52. Like that's crazy.
That is wild.
We'll call it a ticky-tacky tavern. How about that? There you
go. That's good. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Dragoons, I think Dragoons are the best buy on the tavern right now.
70. That seems crazy low.
Yeah. And I don't have a Dragoon. I might just have to go buy this guy. But it's terrific in the sense of I've been accumulating and I'm now a buyer, which is nice. And I don't need to tell you guys because you see in Discord pretty much every day of me posting a different Gen 0 I'm considering buying. But I've been waiting for the floor to drop to like 4,000 jewel where I'll pull the trigger. But now that jewel is like just over $1, you're talking 6-7 grand for a Gen 0, which is crazy.
I mean,
it's interesting.
I want to throw it out there that's a lot of money for to pay for a digital card in a game that you like. But
Yes.
considering the value, and with and something we didn't talk about was the re-roll. I mean, they seem like a decent buy at this point.
Yeah, they do. The reroll is interesting. Of it can help add value to your floor heroes, adding a little RNG of rerolling these stats, as well as it does a summon reset as well, which is
Yes.
interesting. It's based, someone did the math, it's like 230 jewel that you save in summon costs because your first summon cost goes back to the default, whatever the default was, 6 jewel
Yeah.
or whatever.
I fully support you buying a Gen Zero. 100%. I think you should spend your jewel on a Gen Zero.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll say this again. This is not something I can afford personally, but I do think if this is a range that you're willing to spend on this game, these prices are. I think the way that the chart or the way this game is going to go, you're not going to see these prices in the next 3 to 4 months. I think they're going to increase, and this could be a good steal here.
Bullish
Yeah.
Maddie.
I know. I mean,
I agree for kind of 4 months, but I'm also curious of what the next 3 weeks looks like.
yeah, yeah, that's a good point. I should say that it could go lower in the next week or two, but I think in the long run, this would be a good buy if you're in the price range here. Again, I'm not in this price range, and so this is not something I'm going to be buying, but others are potentially, and I think they should look at it because they are creeping lower and lower.
Yeah. So in your price range, what you're looking for, because you did say you have 7 heroes now, which is a little bit of an increase.
Yeah.
What are you looking for on the market, and has it been obviously you've been accumulating, so it's been good to you.
I think that's a great segue because I do want to discuss with you, C9N, a new strategy that I know you've been invoking while you're messing with the tavern here, and I am hesitant to join in, although I know you've been successful. So why don't you give us a breakdown of what you've been doing with the tavern?
Yeah, very simple. I'm a small wallet. I've only got a couple heroes. I've just been scouring DF King, looking for floor heroes that have a little bit more value. Obviously, someone's just looking for liquidity and selling them for a few jewel less. So I've been flipping heroes. Started with an uncommon and a common, Gen 3 and who knows what. Been flipping them, making a profit, putting them up for rent here or there. And currently at a rare and an uncommon with some advanced abilities in there and some sub advanced classes. So I'm making progress for sure.
Wait. Let me understand this. You're scouring the floors basically for whether it's common, uncommon, or rare, and you're looking for maybe an advanced tier, an advanced ability, or multiple summons, and then you're finding them and you're renting them, you're renting or just immediately flipping them, right?
Yes, the advanced abilities not so much. I'm doing that just in case I get stuck. I'm not unhappy with the hero. I can use that, but there's a couple of things I'm looking out for. Is it a Gen 2 with like 8 or 9 summons left? Like I could get lucky, throw that on the market for a few jewel and basically discount that hero, right?
Yeah.
A couple other things I'm looking for is obviously a good professional alignment. I'm looking for some sub advanced classes, and lately with the hero market being a little bit more down, that uncommon is a little bit in that sweet spot. Someone that's holding 40 jewel that previously could only grab a common hero is now like, oh, okay, there's some uncommons in within reach here. So there's, I'm focusing on more of the floor because there's more volume in trading.
I think it's very interesting, and I am very intrigued by this. But I mean, you personally, there's a huge risk that these won't sell, and you're going to be sitting on some heroes that you don't necessarily want to hang on to, right?
Yeah, I mean that's always something you got to be careful of, especially when the market goes down. But to be honest with you, I don't know if it's luck or if I'm just identifying these good heroes.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
buying and I'm putting it back on the market for higher, and if it sells, awesome. If not, I like the hero. Buy the heroes that you like.
I think that's the key
I
right
think
there
it's a
is
good point.
every hero you buy, you're okay keeping,
Right.
but you're happier if you're making a profit.
Right. Boom.
And I think that's a key thing too, is that not that I need to give you a compliment, but you do know. I mean, we've been talking about this game in depth for weeks now. You do know what you're kind of looking for. I mean, it's not like you're going in blind here. You have a good idea of what a good hero is, and you're using that knowledge to potentially flip these floor heroes. I do think, though, I mean, for people listening, it is risky, right? I mean, and you'll admit that. Like, it's a dangerous game. You could end up with some heroes you don't want to end up with, right?
Yeah, it's discipline, right? Buy the ones that you want, so you'll never be disappointed that you own it. So for me, no gardeners ever, period. But most importantly is find that value. There is value there. There are whales that are just like, oh yeah, I summoned this thing. Like, I'm just gonna get rid of it. And you're like, oh cool, that's like 6 jewel for me. Like,
yeah.
Now, it's just little stuff. The problem is I'm spending way too much time on the market and not enough in wage land.
I'd be curious to see, all right, hours versus return, paying yourself 2 jewel an hour.
No way. But it's
you're not making minimum wage.
Right, it's a way to stay involved in a bear market, though. So, I'm not complaining too much.
I agree.
No, it's interesting. I'm very intrigued by it. I think I'm personally, I don't know if I have the time to do that, but I think there is value out there. I mean, obviously, again, I think a good point of how much time and effort are you putting in. Maybe it's not worth that, but.
Well, when I'm working, I always have DFK open. Always. Like, how they say don't have distractions? Yeah, I ignored that rule. And I'm like, yeah, DFK primary, work second.
Yeah. You mean don't have distractions in like boring real world?
Yes, that's what they say. I don't listen.
Yeah. Don't have distractions in crypto is actually what they mean. So don't do your real job is what that means.
Well, perfect. I'm following that strategy very well. But yeah, I mean, I've turned 2 heroes into an uncommon and a common into an uncommon and a rare, and I've got enough jewel for another probably uncommon hero. So I'm flipping. I'm making money. I'm like Gary V.
That's exciting. That's very cool. I don't know if we should reference that. We'll probably get a cease and desist if we say his name.
No, he's not watching this one. If he is, that'd be awesome.
All right. This is very exciting. I think we covered a lot. I know there's a lot of stuff going on, but I think that's all we got to handle, except for a very exciting announcement that seemed to be a casual point you guys made on the last one. But we have randomly selected a winner for our Stampot giveaway, and I'm going to hand it over to Guy. Are you handling this?
Sure. Yeah, so we did our last episode, which was way too long ago, about 25, 30 minutes into the episode, we made a statement saying we want to give back to the people that have been enjoying the podcast, listening to the podcast, supporting us along the way. So what we did is we just mentioned, hey, if you leave a comment, we'll put you in a drawing to win 3 stamina potions. And so we had 15 comments, so it's probably one of the highest odds of any DFK giveaway. I mean, Stampots are going for 4 jewel now, so it's a 12 jewel giveaway, not too skimpy. And our winner was Tom Bravens, that I actually found and connected with him. He's in one of the DFK communities the Discord communities that we're in too. So he was the extra lucky one that made a comment about the guy who values luck abnormally higher than all the other people has no eggs or no pages.
Shots fired. Shots fired, Tom. Thanks a lot.
Great comment to win on.
Enjoy your Stampots.
Yeah, congrats to Tom. Thanks for listening. Thanks for commenting. That's very exciting. I think that's all we got for this week, though. So, C99, you can take us out.
Well, before we do, why don't you guys like it, subscribe, share this, get the word out there as much as possible. Follow us on Twitter as well. Where a couple of us are a little active when we share some fun stuff. We'll have the Twitter and the thumbnails there. But this has been an episode of Bogside Chats where we talk everything DFK but keep it casual. We are the first non-whale podcast. No Gen Zeros, no stable of 100 heroes. My name's C9N. Join with me is Matty Pesk and Guy Kidd. Night.
Yeah.
Solid.
Okay. We flowed well. I think when we mentally say no cuts, it helps us just kind of chill a little bit.